Members of the committee for holding this important roundtable. My name is Brad Baker, and I worked for the Washington football team from 2007 to 2009 in the video production department. I grew up a diehard Redskins fan, diehard. On my first day at what I thought was going to be my dream job, I quickly learned that the Washington football team was a place where male executives regularly harassed, demeaned, and bullied women in the workplace, and they got away with it. For decades, they got away with it. I'm testifying today because the Washington football team must be held accountable for the toxic workplace it created and the harm it caused so many people. We were told on day one to never make eye contact with Dan Snyder, never speak to him. If you must speak about him, he's referred to as Mr. Snyder or the owner. If he's walking towards you, duck into the nearest office. Under no circumstances should you interact with him. Things only got worse from there. In the early summer of 2008, a normal production meeting with the video department was wrapping up when Larry Michael, then executive producer of media and one of Snyder's top lieutenants, asked me and two other male producers to stay behind and shut the door. The female members of the department were dismissed. Larry Michael told us that the owner had a special project for us and needed us to edit together a video of the good bits from our cheerleader calendar video shoot. It wasn't hard to put two and two together. Larry Michael, one of Snyder's top confidants, has tasked us with producing a video for Snyder of sexually suggestive footage of cheerleaders, obviously unbeknownst to any of the women involved. One of the senior producers said he'd take care of it, and later on, while passing through the editing suite, I saw several images on both the editing monitor and the monitor of our tape deck that featured the cheerleaders posing for their photo shoot, but it was like outtakes, and their breasts and pubic areas were exposed. It became crystal clear that my worst suspicions were true. The video department had been told to edit together lewd footage of the cheerleaders at the request of Dan Snyder. So why did I speak up and share this story with the Washington Post? I was inspired by Emily Applegate, my former colleague Megan Imbert, and the stories of so many other women who are now speaking up. I was still working in sports at the time, and it's a notoriously hostile, abusive, and sexually harassing industry in which to work. I felt like if we all spoke up, told the truth, and believed in the process, that we could make a positive impact and inspire some change in workplace culture all over the country, especially in the world of sports. But now here we are, because the National Football League swept the findings of the Wilkinson investigation under the rug. The NFL has refused to release the report of the Wilkinson investigation, even though myself and over 100 other employees were asked by the league to speak to the Wilkinson firm. We all participated because we thought the NFL wanted to know the truth. We believed that the toxic workplace culture and the serious harm it caused would finally become public and that the investigation would end with some kind of report. I mean, they were able to release a report that was 243 pages long, 243 pages long on the PSIs of footballs, the pounds per square inch of footballs. Surely, women being sexually harassed and lewd outtakes videos of female employees created without their consent could muster up some kind of written report, right? Even as employees came forward, Dan Snyder still tried to control them and intimidate them by hiring private investigators to contact the various employees during the Wilkinson investigation. Snyder had private investigators digging around in my past. Do you know what it feels like to have someone dig into your personal life? To worry that a friend or family member is going to be called by a PI? Even with threats of intimidation, I and many other former employees came forward to speak with the NFL investigators because we believed that the NFL would finally take action against Snyder and the Washington football team. And you know what? Turns out the NFL does not care. If they cared, they'd have held up their end of the bargain by meeting the smallest and most basic expectation any of us ever had of them, to be transparent and release a report. All we're asking for is transparency. That's all we've ever wanted. Once the horrors of working at the Washington football team are exposed, accountability will undoubtedly follow. But we can't determine accountability without transparency. And that's why I'm begging you, the United States Congress, and our elected officials to compel the National Football League to do the absolute bare minimum and release the report.